What's going on, everybody? It's Camille, Aiko. Saturday night. Hope that you're living the life that you love, spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. I am committed to doing this 22 days with you of the 10X rule book. So I am here live in action. So we are going to discuss chapter 6 of the 10X rule. Hey Wilbert, what's going on? So 10X rule by Grant Cardone. We are on chapter 6 tonight. Make sure you drop those ones if you're catching this live. Drop a 2 if you are catching this on replay. I am excited about this chapter because this chapter right here is like so near and dear to my heart, because I feel this way often. Hey, what's going on, Alfonso? And everybody else who's joining in, drop those ones. If you're going to watch this live with me, if you're going to catch it on replay, drop a 2. So stop being a punk, all right? So Grant Cardone here is really, he uses some other choice words, but I'm going to use my stop being a punk version, all right? But first of all, the 10X rule, okay? The 10X rule is implementing 10 times more effort, 10 times more thought into whatever it is that you want to achieve, any of your goals. So it doesn't matter if it's spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, familial, business, relationships, whatever your goals are. The 10X rule is teaching you how to apply 10 times more effort, 10 times more thought so that you can achieve a greater amount of success. Yes, Wilbur. So it's going to be a great topic. All right. So he says that he really wanted to name this title something different, but the actual name of the title is Assume Control for Everything. Assume Control for Everything. Name of book I need to buy tonight. It's the 10X rule. 10X rule by Grant Cardone. 10X rule. Did I miss something else here? Oh, yeah. You can get the book on Amazon. Thank you, Wilbur, for answering that. Okay. Totally missed that initially when it first posted. So here we go. Assuming control for everything. Now, Grant says that the main point of this chapter, he says, crybabies, whiners, and victims just don't do well at attracting or creating success. So as we're going through the discussion of this chapter, I need you to identify if you are one of the crybabies, if you are one of the whiners, if you're one of the victims. Because if you are, I want you to understand that you really just don't attract success very well. And so if you look at your life and there's some things that aren't matching up with what your desired goals are, you have to take a look and say, am I being a crybaby? Am I being a victim? Right? And so we're going to talk a lot tonight about the victim mentality, because a lot of people have the victim mentality, and one, they embrace it, or two, they don't even know that that's what they're living in. And so that's what we need to get rid of. If we want to move forward, we have got to get rid of this victim mentality. And see, these people who are crybabies, who have the victim mentality, who are the whiners, we're actually capable of getting what we want. But here's the problem. Because we're so hooked on being the victim, we're not willing to take the responsibility that we need to take in order for us to achieve the goals that we want. See, too much is given, much is required. And so a lot of people want much, but we don't want the responsibility of much. That doesn't go hand in hand with one another. In fact, it's very backwards. So the less responsibility you want to take, the less you're going to get, because you aren't going to be able to manage what it is that you desire. Stop being a punk. I'm one of them. All right, Eric, at least you know. Abby, girl, bye. I don't even know what that's referring to. Come on and teach. Hey, Topi. Okay, so now you can't be positive when spending time making excuses. You can't be positive when spending time making excuses. So let's say you have a goal, right? And your goal, let's just say something random, right? Like text 50 people. If the goal is to text 50 people, and let's say it's whether for business or just to say hi because you decide that you have this feeling, warm, fuzzy feeling in your heart and you want to be nice to people, right? You're like, okay, my goal is to text 50 people. But then in the midst of doing that, you're like, oh, well, my battery got low. Oh, well, someone needed to borrow my phone. Oh, well, I don't know what I do with my phone, right? So all of these excuses you begin to create. And when you're creating these excuses, you can't be positive because you're thinking of all the reasons on why you couldn't accomplish something. So maybe there's some goals in your life that you haven't accomplished because you keep coming up with excuses, which causes negativity because now you're thinking about why you can't achieve something versus why you can get it done. All right, Topi. So, and this book has been great so far. So definitely pick it up if you don't have it. All right. So now the next thing that we're going to talk about is this. Success doesn't happen to you. It happens because of you and because of your actions. Success just doesn't happen to you. It happens because of you and your actions. So if you're not finding, and remember, success is a very broad terminology depending on what phase you are in your life, and just depending on what it is that you truly want, success is going to look different for you. So just know that as we're talking about success, when I say success, there is no specific dollar amount that's attached to that. That's not a specific relationship that's attached to that. That's not a specific goal, okay, that's attached to that. It is what your purpose is, and your actions align with your purpose to reach your goals. So that's going to look different for everybody. But what is important is that you know what is for you. You have to know your purpose. You have to identify your goals. You have to create the action plan. And then you have to go after it with your full capability so that you are living to the point where you have no regrets when it comes down to your dying day. People won't look and say, she had so much potential, but she just wasn't able to get it done. That's not what we want. We want to be able to say, you know what? They lived life to the absolute fullest. They gave all that they had to give. They left nothing to leave, right? But a legacy of all of the great work, all of the great things that they accomplished. So, refuse to take responsibility. Unsuccessful people refuse to take responsibility and won't take much action. But let me make sure I read that right. Won't take much action, and because of that, you won't get success. So let me say that again so that it flows. You unsuccessful people refuse to take responsibility, and they won't take much action because they won't take much responsibility, and because of that, they won't get much success. So even a very simple example, right? Let's say it's taking out the trash on trash day. So if a person feels like it's not their responsibility to take out the trash on trash day, you know, go put it out by the curb so that the dumpster, right, the trash men can come by and do their job. If you feel like it's not your responsibility, then you're simply not going to go around the house and get all the trash out of the trash cans. You won't go take it to the bigger trash can that most people keep outside or in their garage, and you're not going to take it to the curb so that the trash people can come and get it. Do you get what I'm saying? So because you feel like it's not your responsibility, you sit there and you leave it for somebody else to do. And when you do that in your life, and a lot of us, that was a very simple example, but a lot of us do that in our lives. We leave the control up to somebody else. We say it's not our responsibility to do that. And when we do that, we just allow junk and stuff and trash to fill up in our lives because we're not moving with purpose. Because we're allowing all of these other forces to come in our lives and tell us what to do, when to do it. And then we're wondering why we're not being fulfilled. We're wondering why is my life going the way that it is going? You have to assume control for your life. Everything is your responsibility. Even the things that look like it's not your responsibility, guess what? It's your responsibility, because nobody has control over your life but you. Yes, things will happen, but at the end of the day, bottom line is if you aren't taking responsibility for it, then it's going to, your life will continue to just go down this downward spiral of you never know what's going to happen. You don't have control over any of the events. And even the things that you seemingly don't have control over, you won't have any type of plan. You won't have any type of strategy on how to overcome those barriers, because you're always blaming someone else. You're always looking to someone else to put the blame on or the responsibility on. Yeah, it's not a good thing to do. I've seen it done many times, and people become exactly, Topi. People become stagnant when this happens. So here's some things that successful people do. Success, they have high levels of responsibility. Successful people hate the blame game. It's not everybody else's fault. Oh, well, I was going to, but my sister, and then my mama, and then girl, you know, this happened, and then this happened, and then my job, and my boss, and those co-workers, and girl, I just couldn't take it anymore. Listen, all of that is the blame game. You need to sit down and say, okay, what did Camille do? What can Camille do differently? You know, you fill in that blank, or where I put Camille, you put your name. What could you have done differently, even though it could have been where that other person was in the wrong? But you can't control their actions. And the only thing you're going to do by focusing it on them is creating a bigger problem, creating bigger frustrations. You know about the female members of my family, so-called friends and enemies. I'm beefing with them. They got power over me. Eric, why do you allow them to have power over you? You control your mind. You control your actions. Don't allow them to have power over you. All right. WDCD. What is that? What did Christ do? How can I be the change? Yes, I caught the wave. Yes. All right. So, other things that successful people do. Better to make something happen than have something happen to you. Take control. See, we wait like, okay, well, let me just see what's going to happen. I'm going to see if this is going to happen to me. I'm going to see, right? And all the time while you're seeing, you're losing control. Be proactive. Take preventive measures. Don't allow things to just happen to you. Get up and say, no, I'm going to make life happen. Life isn't just going to happen to me, right? They know my weakness. Okay, well, if they know your weakness, work on making your weak strong. All right, now, the victim mentality uses blame as why something did or did not happen. So let's get in, we're going to talk about this victim mentality. Uses blame as why something did or did not happen. Gives control over to another for their success. Now all of a sudden, oh, I wasn't successful. I didn't reach my goal. I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that because somebody else. That is the blame game. That is placing your responsibility. That is placing your success in the hands of somebody else. And nobody is going to care about your success like you will care about your success, because we've already talked about the 3 points of success. That it is important, that it is your duty, and there is no shortage. And once you take on that mindset, then you have to understand that nobody is going to care about your success like you will care about your success. What did Camille do? You just said it. Listen, I don't be catching what I'm saying sometimes. This is powerful. Yes, yes. Okay, now, give control over to another for their success or the lack of it. Will never, so when you do that, when you give your success to somebody else or the lack of your success to someone else, you will never be in control of it. Plain and simple. As long as you're looking to someone else to pay your bills, as long as you're looking to someone else to make you happy, as long as you're looking for someone else to rear your children, as long as you're looking for someone else to whatever it is, whatever your goals are, and you're like, well, they didn't make it happen, and they didn't. Stop it. That is the victim mentality. It's like, oh, well, I would have practiced, but, my children came. I would have practiced, but listen, there are a lot of, that's one thing that we need to talk about real quick. For those of you who have children. Now, I don't have children. So you're right. I can't tell you specifically how things go when you have children. But this is what I can tell you, is that I have watched people who do have children who have been able to live their life in a full capacity or a great capacity to be able to accomplish their goals. If you have children, stop making your children an excuse on why you can't reach your goals. A lot of people say that children are the reason why we do what we do, right? They're the reason why they get up and grind. They're the reason why they get up and hustle. Well, if that is the case, stop allowing the reason that's supposed to make you fly be held back. You say, well, I can't do it because I got kids. I can't do it because my children this. I can't do it. Stop that. Find a babysitter. Find a family member. Be willing to pay a babysitter if it's something where your children can't be around. Be willing to travel with your children. Be willing to teach your children so that they're not just there and being a hindrance, but they can be there and help. I think about the Chinese restaurant that I go to down the street from my house, right? There's a young girl who's in elementary school. She works the cash register there. They're not just saying, oh, well, my kids are a hindrance, so I can't go to work or I can't run my family business because of this child. No, they have taught her some good math skills. She's gone to school, and I'm sure they work with her at home. They've taught her how to work the cash register. They're teaching her customer service skills because she'll pick up the phone. She knows how to take orders. She knows how to deal with people. But we'll sit there and be like, no, I can't do it because of my kids. Stop doing that, because now you are teaching your children on how to make excuses and be the victim versus identify problems and overcoming barriers and coming up with strategies on how to be successful. Okay, so that's my tangent on that. Now, when I get kids, you all remind me of the spiel that I just gave you, right? Children are the reason I seem frustrated and upset. Eric, I don't know what you're coming from on tonight, but I need you to stay focused. Children are the reason I seen it frustrated and upset. Identify. Yes. Okay, now, never be secure, the victim mentality, are never secure because they put it on everyone else and never know what they can do. Victims always put it on everybody else and they never have any solutions for their problems. They have no idea how they can be able to accomplish something. It's like such a foreign concept to them. Like, oh, well, I don't know how I'm going to do this because my car is not working. And then if it's not one thing, it's another. And I can't do it because, nobody is going to be able to give me a ride. And it's like, well, did you ask anybody to give you? No, I just assumed because, and now you've created this whole situation that doesn't even exist because you live in a place of victimhood. Okay, so the victim says, I am victim. Bad things always happen and I can't do anything. And see, some of you all aren't even going to catch it. Some of you won't even realize this is you because you think that what you're giving is valid reasons when really it's excuses. And that is the part that we really have to dig deep and identify that and not even necessarily identify, but analyze. Am I where I want to be? Am I reaching my goals? Am I working towards my goals? Are things getting better? Because if it's not, then it's a good chance that you could be living in a victim mindset. And particularly if you have had the same goals for a long amount of time. So even let's take weight loss as a example, right? There are some people who have been trying to lose the same 40 pounds for the past 10 years. And they'll tell you everything from the products didn't work, I changed my diet, I don't eat sugar, I love food too much. They will give you all of these different excuses on why they can't reach their goal. So then you also have to analyze, well, is this really my goal? So there's so many things that you really have to just sit down and look at yourself in the mirror and come face to face with, Am I really reaching my goals? Am I living with a victim mindset? Am I always coming up with excuses and bad things always happen? Because then, things are going to come up, and you have to choose to be more disciplined than the things that are going on around you. You can't allow those things to control you. You have to control them. Discipline your thoughts, discipline your actions so that you can reach your goals. No more excuses. Wow, I'm just going to sow a seed right now. Sophie, I needed to hear this. I'm more than an enabler, and I enable the victims. And it's so easy to do. It's so easy to fall into the sob story, because that's the thing about victims. Victims, and I don't want to jump too far ahead of myself, and we'll talk about this more, but victims will tell you all of their business, and then they will have you feeling sorry for them, and then the next thing you know, you're giving them money, right? You're giving them rides, you're just availing yourself to their victimhood, and they're not getting any better, they're getting worse, and you're getting worse, and you don't even realize it. So you have to assume control. If you want to be successful, everybody, assume control of everything. The good, the bad, the ugly is caused by you. This is the mentality that you have to adopt, okay? So I'm not even literally saying that the good, bad, and ugly are necessarily caused by you. It's just the mentality that you have to have so that you can become a solution-oriented person, and not get so bogged down on trying to find out whose fault it is. It's like, it doesn't matter whose fault it is. What matters is you come up with a solution to solve the problem, right? I needed to hear, I read that, OMG me, wow, control it is. Okay, so even when things appear for us not to have control, we have to make it as though we have control. Take responsibility and control to do something to improve the situation going forward. So for an example, he gives Grant, the author of the book, the 10X rule, for those of you who are just joining or didn't catch the beginning, if you're watching this on replay, okay? So this book is by Grant Cardone, and we're on chapter 6. But the example that he gives in the book is about electricity going out. He says, okay, so let's say the whole street, everybody's electricity goes out. And so now it's been out for days. You haven't been able to get any work done. You all haven't been able to wash clothes. You haven't been able to do what it is that you need to do. So even though that wasn't necessarily your fault, what could you have done to prevent all of the inconveniences that you're experiencing in your life? So this is the part of the 10X rule, is that we begin to think about these things 10 times more with 10 times more thought. So for example, just to go a little further, let's say you live in an area where the electricity goes out often. So it's kind of an expectation that the electricity is going to go out. So again, the question is, what could you do? Thinking 10 times more, thinking and putting 10 times more action. What could you do so that you wouldn't have to experience the inconvenience of the electricity going out? When it goes out, call Wilbert, right? and not only can you call Wilbert, and then maybe Wilbert can bring you a generator, right? You identify different things that you can do, right? Have somebody who knows how to do electric work, so that when electric issues come up, you have a go-to person, you have a trusted person, versus it being a do-it-yourself project that you never get around to, right? Because you don't know how to do it, and you never take the time to learn, and then you don't have a trusted person, and so those projects that you get started on never get finished because you didn't come up with 10 times more action and 10 times more thought behind it. See, and Wilbur's gonna hook you up with the generator. So if you are in Louisiana, right, contact Wilbur. Wilbur, put your information below. All right, so that was a plug for you tonight. Pay me $5. No. All right, where are we here? Now, not compulsive control, but a high level of healthy sense of responsibility and a way to generate effective solutions. So this isn't so that you can be a control freak, like, oh my gosh, it's got to be this way or it's got to be that way. No, this is thinking through things in an effective way, especially if you know things are going to affect your livelihood, your way of life, your income, your family. So you think about these things ahead of time. So that way, again, you are solution oriented versus a victim mindset. Okay. Now, let's go down here. Control and increase your responsibility. So assume control and increase your responsibility. Assume control and increase your responsibility. Everything, good, bad, ugly. Guess what? I'm looking at it like, well, what do I need to do differently? What should I have done? Take position that if it happened, take position that it happened because something that you did or did not do. Okay? We're taking the position that the things happened in our lives, good, bad, and ugly, happened because of things that we did or did not do. So, for instance, working in the people business and having to train people and building teams and creating duplicatable systems, it's always interesting because it's like you come in with a certain knowledge or a certain place and you feel like you've talked to people and you've told them what the answers were and you've told them how to do it and you've shown them the system and you've thought you've done this great job, and then they come back and it's like you haven't told them anything and you're like, huh? What? Like, we already went over this. And I found myself in the past getting frustrated when people would come back and be like, no, I don't know. I've never heard this. I've never seen this. And I'm like, no, like I've got proof. Like I know that we did this in a training. I know that you were there. I know that we've covered this information, right? And I had to come to the point to say, if they don't understand, yeah, it could because they just weren't paying attention, whatever, right? And I could put it on that and be frustrated with them and call them dumb and call them all types of names and things. But I had to come to the point and say that if my people who I'm responsible for don't understand, then it's my responsibility to do a better job at training and coaching. And yeah, you're right. Some people will never get it. But it's my job to be a servant leader and identify how can I help you more? What can I do more so that you understand the concepts, the systems, and the way of work? That's my job. And so when I look at it and if my business isn't flowing and functioning and it's not being duplicated, I'm not looking at the people. Even though I may have given them the information, I'm looking at myself because I'm saying, okay, what haven't I done? What do I need to do better so that people can have a level of success that they are desiring? Because it's my job to help people reach their goals. And if they're not reaching their goals, then I have to step back and say, I have to step back and take responsibility for that, because even though they have a level, it's also my responsibility as well. Okay? Let's see here. Assume control and increase your responsibility. Great view. I see the ATL sky view. Yes, Coach Lakeisha, and congratulations. You did so well today speaking. And what else did you, and winning. Congratulations on your ticket. True, because they're a reflection of you. Yes, 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 Wilbur. Okay, so let's find where I'm at. Increasing your responsibility level will enhance your ability to find solutions. And so as we talked about yesterday, that there's no shortage of success, we talked about one of the reasons why there is no shortage of success is because people who are successful find problems to solutions. And so this is what we're talking about here tonight. Of a successful person doesn't take the victim mindset, but they find the answer to the problems so that way they can be an asset to people, to an organization, and then therefore you will find success. But as long as you're always problematic, as long as you're always woe is me, as long as you're always, just down and out and victim and oh my God, please show me pity and throwing this pity party and girl, don't you see it my way? I'll be like, no. Like, they just get the straight face. They come to me and they're like, but I don't know this because I don't, straight face. All right, so now that you're done whining and complaining, I can either reteach you or you can be resourceful and go and find a way, right? That's my mentality. That's why I love this section, because I promise you, I am all about helping you until you come at me with a bunch of excuses. And then at that point, that's where you get the straight face, a couple blinks, and then I'm going to ask you if you're done. And if you go on too long, then I'm going to cut you off, because I don't have time for that. You're ruining my energy. You're dampening my spirit. Nobody has time for that. Okay, so thanks for being a sister soldier to follow your commitment, whether you're at home. Thank you, Coach. Agree, Coach Keisha. Solve people's problems. Yes, Lord, I know people like that. Honey, the straight face is so real. Like, and the straight face, people get that straight face. People get it whether it's in business or like just in regular advice in life, whether it's choir rehearsal. Honey, let me tell you, I'll just be like, are y'all done giving this little pity party? Because I'm not joining. Like, I'm not coming to your party. This party that you're inviting me to, I will not be an attendee. So at any point, you can stop wasting your breath, because it's just not going to happen. That's how we have to be, y'all. When people want to invite you to that victim party, to that woe is me party, you got to be like, no, I got other plans. I'm busy. I can't go. I can't do it. All right. So don't blame. It's only going to increase the problem. I already said that, but I'm going to say it again. Do not blame, because it will only increase the problem. When we talked about the law of attraction, right, we talked about what you focus on will grow. So the more you blame, the more you find fault, the more you go seeking after the problem versus identifying a solution, then you're going to get more of that. Whether it's real or not, you will create it if it's not real, because you're just so focused on finding it. Like, I know that problem exists, and the problem may not exist, but because you're just so focused on going to go find that problem, boom, like it just happens. You're like, I know you cheating on me. I know. I just feel, right? It just, these things that may not even be happening. Or it could be something like, well, I know you lied on me. I know you stole from me. And that may not even be the case, right? Like, especially you missing your keys. Did anybody see my keys? Did you move my keys? You touched my keys. I saw you with my keys last. Like, we come up with all of these different things, and then we start blaming people. But because we're not really thinking about where we left our keys last, we're just trying to put the blame on somebody else. Then we're going to find that we're just going to continue to blame, and you're not going to find your keys in a timely manner. Why? Because your mindset wasn't in a place to be solution oriented. You were in a mindset to be the victim. And as long as you have a mindset of victim, you will always be the victim. Hey, Sam, I am in Georgia. Yes, honey, Toby, that straight face, really? Now, yes. Yes, Karali. Why you tripping? Marshawn, what's up? What's up? See Marshawn coming over here just trying to blame me for tripping. I ain't tripping, honey. I'm talking about that victim mentality. All right. Now, Marshawn missed you in Atlanta this weekend. Where are we at here? Now, the victim mentality will cause you to make sure negative events didn't take place to improve quality of life and reduce occurrence of seemingly random. So not the victim mentality, but when you take on the responsibility, when you assume control, when you assume the responsibility, okay, it's going to cause you to make sure negative events don't take place to improve quality of life and reduce occurrence of seemingly random, unfortunate events. So let's say, for instance, your house, when it rains, your house gets flooded, right? So if you know that your house always gets flooded, then that must mean that there is some issue going on, perhaps with the foundation, right? Maybe there's something that you need to get checked out. So versus waiting for the rain to come and the rain ruining all of your stuff and all of your belongings, why don't you get up and get your house fixed, right? It's things like this. So that you need to think about and apply 10 times more action and 10 times more thought, where you are being preventive, where you're being proactive versus waiting for something to happen to you. You are happening to it because you are a force to be reckoned with. You dominate. You can't dominate and you can't be a force to be reckoned with if you are allowing things to just happen to you. No, you assume control. You take responsibility and stop waiting for everybody else to give you your solution when you have it within you. All right? So, be solution oriented. Now, let's say, for instance, someone rear ends you. And I know y'all are like, okay, well, if somebody rear ends me, it's obviously their fault. Especially if you're just sitting at a red light, right? And this is Grant's example. You're sitting at a red light, somebody comes up, they hit you. You're like, what in the world? Well, what could I have done to prevent that? I don't know. Maybe you were running late. Maybe if you weren't running late and you would have left home on time, or you would have left early, or you would have taken a different path. And maybe you're like, well, how am I supposed to know? Listen, everything we say happens for a reason, or that saying is said often, right? So if it is said in the good, then we must also apply it in the bad. It doesn't just stop because something bad happens. Everything happens for a reason, but the reason behind it, you have to think further. You have to think deeper, and we're going to talk about that more and really connect those dots there. Taking notes too, but don't have 5 pages. Maybe I write small and front and back. Oh, Toby, I didn't even see where you had said you had taken 5 pages of notes. Okay, so let me, where am I at? Y'all know how I get. Okay, so after, keep that rear end accident in mind because we're going to come back to it. Promise. All right. Now, after claiming life of success, making a decision to create success, and don't claim the victim role. So what we have to do is claim a life of success. We have to make a decision to create it. Because remember, success doesn't just happen to us. We create success. Success is a concept. And the more value that you add to an individual or a group of people, then the more success you are going to have. So if I'm trying to, and let's go back to the Monique, the comedian example, right? If Monique added value to the people that she was trying to get money from, they would have no problem paying her, but they're only paying her the amount of value that they think that she adds. Now, you can argue whichever way that you want, okay? And like we've talked when the last time I used this analogy, that yes, there are some people who are just truly underpaid, right? But here's the thing. If you're in a position where you are underpaid, you then have the choice to increase your value or go find a different group or a different individual that is going to be able to see your value and pay you the way that you deserve. Now, that could be in business, that could be your job, that could be in a relationship. You might be with somebody who absolutely does not see your value, and because they don't see your value, they treat you any type of way. Now, you can stay there and continue to take that, or you can say, I'm going to go find an individual that is going to treat me the way that I deserve, who understands the value that I add to this relationship, or you be miserable. You do the blame game. It's his fault. It's her fault. This is how they treated me. This is what they did. It was always stop. It's your fault because you're choosing to stay there. Absolutely. Claim of life of success. Yes. And then after you claim it, you go create it. Because success does not happen to you. It happens because of you. It happens because of your actions. Now, good things don't just happen to victims. Bad things happen frequently, right? So the people of this victim mindset that we've been talking about, you'll never hear how good things are always happening. You might hear it for a little bit, but then it's going to go right back to the bad. Like, if it's not one thing, y'all hear it all the time. Like, oh my God, like when it rains, it pours. What else do victims say? Right? Just nothing ever goes right. Everything is always against me. Everybody is always after me. Though that's a victim mindset, right? So, but bad things happen frequently. And this is how you're going to know if a person is a victim, right? Just ask them how their day was. Ask them if they have any goals or what their goals are. And they're going to start telling you all of the bad stuff. I mean, all of it. They're going to talk to you from the morning until the night about how things went bad. Hey, or they will stay on the one situation and they are going to talk about that over and over and over. It's like, and then they're going to find like the smallest point to pull out of the whole horrible, negative, uninteresting, draining conversation. It's just like, where are my headphones? I cannot take this. Yes, they just complain way too much, and you're like, oh my God. And then, you know, it even comes to a point where you don't even want to have conversations with these people because you're just like, how can I avoid having this conversation? There was this woman who, she came to me. In fact, we were all sitting in a group. It was a group of women sitting there. And I had talked about how I had gone to the movies. And she was like, well, you didn't call and ask me to go to the movies. And it was just one of those moments where I was just like, you know what? Because every time I'm around you, there's just negativity. And I just wasn't in the mood to take the negativity. And she took it very personal. And she got upset with me, but I just couldn't do it anymore. I was just like, the reason why you don't have any friends is because you're always negative. So if nobody ever wants to be around you, you might want to check if you have the victim mindset. You might want to check if you're being a little too negative, too much. Like, yeah, we all have our moments. We're all human, right? I'm not saying that we're going to be walking around like this nice little bubble all the time, right? But good God, right? Like, calm that down. Talk about your problem. Boom, boom, boom. Here's the problem. Talk about the solution. Move on. Forget it. Whatever. But just stop. Stop being negative. All right. Right. Put those calls on blocks, man. I wish I could tag my negative friends. Sophie. Okay. I really appreciate all the work you do to bring a clear insight to living a better life, regardless of our present situation. Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in. Okay, and I really mean that because, you know, without you guys, then I would be talking to myself. So I'm glad that we're all learning and we're all growing together. Okay, so here are 4 consistent factors of a victim. Number 1, bad things happen. Just inevitable. Something bad is going to happen. 2, bad things happen often. Just doesn't matter. Like Monday something bad happened, Tuesday 5 things bad happened, Wednesday didn't get much better, Thursday even got more horrible, Friday we revisited Monday, Saturday is a whole different ball game. Oh my God, I'm so tired, and they're tired, I'm tired, everybody's tired, right? Love you too, Topi. I removed the negative people out of my life this year because I'm tired of hearing about negative things. All I need is positivity. And only positive people are allowed in my life from now on. Awesome, Jessica. Okay, number 3, they're always involved, right? I used to have a very dramatic life. And if it wasn't me personally, like I found my way to get in the drama, okay? Whether it was like I was going to back up my girl who was having a problem with somebody else. So it wasn't even necessarily my problem, but because it was my girl and I need to go hold her down. Like, where is it? Who did it? What we going to do next, girl? Right? We just had that mentality. Like, if it's drama, I can solve it. Boom. Because I can face it head on. Like, what is that life about? Or, you know, she don't like me. Let me show her that I don't care, and then go and be patty. Like, stop. We have to stop. We have to mature in our minds. We have to stop being those negative victim mindset people, right? Okay. So, and it was always, even though I felt like I had the upper hand, y'all catch this, right? So even in those situations, I felt like I had the upper hand, I was still being the victim because it was never my fault. It was always their fault, right? So I'm up here like, yeah, it ain't my fault. She always got a problem with me. But at the same token, I'm placing the blame on them. Like, no, I should have assumed responsibility. And one day I did. And I said, you know what? I don't want this type of drama in my life. I don't want to go out every weekend and have to fight the girl, the guy. We all at it. We all gossiping. Like, stop. Take control of your life. Okay? Stop thinking you're this big boss, egotistical, but yet you're really the victim. And that's where I was. I thought that I had all this control, that I was the boss, I was this, but really I was allowing them to ruin my life with gossip. I just felt like I needed to gossip about them, right? I just felt like I needed to fight and argue and show that I was in charge and I was better than. Like, no. In fact, I got some Facebook friends now from our crazy days of where they want to just see if I was dating and who I was dating. Right now they got the groups out. Sis, is this your man? Right? I probably would have been involved in those groups back in the day. Y'all need to get out them groups. That's petty. Come on, let's grow up. Mature your minds. If you were dating a man where you got to be like, sis, is this your man? Then if you've even thought about doing that, you might just leave him alone. Take control. Assume full responsibility. Stop trying to put that man out there as being a dog. Everybody know he's a dog. What are you getting from putting them in a group and putting them on blast? What are you getting from putting all these other people on blast? Nothing but misery. And then they're still controlling your life. Okay, that was my tangent on that. Now, point number 4. Someone or something is always to blame. So maybe I kind of combine those, right? So the 4, bad things happen often. They're always involved. These are the victims, right? And someone or something is always to blame. Everybody but you, because you just got it together and you are this sad little creature, right? So it's either spectrum. It could be where you feel like you have it all and it's still everybody else's fault, or you can feel like, woe is me, life just handed me all of the wrong things in life, and so I just can't get ahead. And it's everybody, it's mom's fault, it's dad's fault, it's everybody else's fault. Take responsibility. And I'm not even saying, again, that it could be, maybe you had an abusive family situation. Maybe you did grow up in a tough neighborhood, right? But it's up to you to take responsibility and say, that won't be my future. My past is not my present. That's up to you. You have to assume responsibility. Girl, yes, I will talk to Robert and my team. He needs to remove negative. So do I. Awesome, Eric. Catch the wave, y'all. She's speaking truth. Hey, Topi. Thank you, boo. Marshawn, good teaching. What, Marshawn? You said something nice. Listen, the Lord does work miracles. He works in mysterious ways. Love you. Okay. Now, successful people. This is the mindset that they take on. Everything happens in your life comes as a result of your own responsibility. Everything that happens in your life comes as your own responsibility. This is a mindset. This is a mentality that successful people put on. So hopefully y'all are catching this. I'm not saying if it rains, then you have responsibility of the rain. No, but what I'm saying is successful people, they create the umbrella to protect themselves from the rain, and then they go sell it to everybody else. So now not only do they have protection, but now they've created another stream of income. That's thinking 10 times beyond. And not only now do they have another stream of income, but they've sold the ideal to somebody else and made some more money. And then they developed a different kind of umbrella. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? So now instead of the big old umbrellas that will have a lot of people, then they did the miniature size, and then they did the size where it could fit in your purse, and then they did the individual size, because they're identifying problems and then they're coming up with solutions. And that's what successful people do. They identify problems and they come up with solutions. So what solutions are you coming up with in order to achieve your dreams and your goals? Or are you just having the victim mindset? I can't get it done because I got married and I have kids and now life has just completely changed. Well, that was part of the plan, right? So what are you doing? How have you thought 10 times more effort all of that good stuff in order to attain your dreams and goals. So why is it that we come across this thing that's supposed to be so great in our lives and then we use it as the excuse to why we have become stagnant? Stop that. Stop that. Okay? Don't do that anymore. Let me see. Hey, Brian, I lived in the ghetto all my life. Marshawn, yes. Hey, Michelle, yes, mindset and mentality. Teach, that's good. We need to quit. Yes, that's what it's about. When we make the excuses, we are truly just being victims in our own lives. And when you want to stop being the victim in your own lives, you are going to stop being a punk and assume control for everything, right? Okay, so Martinez Tarver with no shirt on. I'm sorry. No, we won't do an invite. Okay. Ask, what can I do to prevent this from ever happening to me again or reduce chances? So this is what we're saying to ourselves. When problems come up in our lives, we ask, what can I do to prevent this from ever happening to me again or reduce the chances? What can I do from this ever happening to me again or reduce the chances? Okay, so let's go back to that rear end example that we were talking about earlier. Now, I want you to remember the law of attraction that we talked about. The law of attraction is that our thoughts, our desires, our mindset, right? All of that, our words are attracting what it is that we want into our lives, right? So if we believe, and let me actually go to the book because he explains it pretty well. Okay, he says, let me try to get you to shift your thinking just a bit more. If you have the book, it's page 43. Before I move on, many people agree with the notion that you draw or attract into your life the things and people to which you pay the most attention. This is the law of attraction. Many may also agree that you have tapped into only a small portion of their understanding and mental capability. Now, here's the aha thing that I was like, well, that's kind of interesting that you pose it this way, Grant. Is there any possibility then that you made some decision that you might not have even been aware of sometime prior to your appointment to, in a sense, create this supposed accident that you could have continued, that you could continue to have something to blame in your life? So maybe there is some negative thought when these accidents happen. So maybe you were in a rush. Maybe you were flustered and you had an attitude with somebody in your family. You get out there on the road, boom, rear end, right? Because if everything happens for a reason, then what Grant is saying is that perhaps there was something that you did. Perhaps there was a thought that you thought that attracted that event into your life. Y'all following me? That the bad things that actually happen, maybe there were things that we have done to continue to attract it into our lives. So let's say you grew up poor. Just because you grew up poor doesn't mean that you have to stay poor, right? But because you had the mentality and you thought, well, because this is the way of life, and you didn't think any further than that, that is what has continued to attract that into your life. And that's just an example. Let me go through here and read you all's comments. 10 times I came in late. Okay, so the 10X rule is applying 10 times more effort, 10 times more thought to achieve your goals in greater amounts. All right, and so tuned in, okay. Yes, things have been happening and I've been moving on it. I'm so excited. Awesome, Brian. Peace and love, King and Queens, except Jesus Christ. Amen. Yes, I knew the sound of his voice. Speak on it. That's powerful. Boom. Nice view. I see you. Hey, Bobby. I knew that was it. Yes. So, just thinking about all the good, all the bad, all of the ugly, everything that happens to us, perhaps there was a thought that we had, it was an attitude that we had, it was a desire that we've had that has created whatever it is to happen. So we have to think about that. So as we're putting the thought into our goals and as we're putting the effort, into our goals, we also have to not ignore the law of attraction into our lives, okay? Because remember, the law of attraction is working whether or not you're intentionally using it. So the best thing to do is intentionally use the law of attraction because it's at work. Now it's either working for you or against you. Now be intentional about how the law of attraction is going to work for you. All right, so that was the rear end example. Now, although it's happening to you, it's happening because of you. So remember that. Although it's happening to you, it is happening because of you. Although it's happening to you, it is happening because of you. So let me even give an example. I don't know what Miss Dana Newsom, she is one of my business partners, but today they were like raffling off at our business conference, raffling off different types of prizes and gifts and things. And I believe she won 3 times today. Like, I don't know if she was just speaking blessings and commanding her day, but I be like every time. And then she got it with so much excitement, right? Because she's attracting this into her life. She gets up and she like does this like scream that everybody's like, yeah, go Dana, go, right? And now we're putting even more energy into her success. But out of all the people, you know, the nearly 300 people or so that were in there, she and all of the tickets, each one of us got 5 tickets apiece, and she wins 3 times. Like, there was some type of energy. Like, there was things that she did leading up to that point, just even in that, for her to be able to win that many times. Like, the universe, when we put out what we want and we command our day, or we just have positive thoughts, or we function in a different type of way, God begins to align with what it is that we desire, right? And things just begin to work out on our behalf. And it's like, all you have to do is show up. All you have to do is believe. All you have to do is take the action. In fact, she drove in. So this morning she got up early, drove in so that she could be here at the meeting this morning. But she could have easily been like, well, I don't want to go. I have to get up too early. This person's not coming. That person's not coming. Like, she could have come up with all different types of excuses and gone into the victim mentality and not assumed responsibility for her success. But she didn't. She assumed responsibility, got up, got her mama, her husband, everybody was there at the meeting on time. They had time to get breakfast, and she was able to win all of the stuff. And the rest of us were sitting there like, ain't nobody called my number yet, with our little negative mindset, and then wondering why we weren't winning. I'll tell you why we weren't winning, because we were thinking negative. And I know I was one of them, because I was like, I done got all these tickets, because somebody even gave me their tickets, and I still didn't win. So where everybody else had 5, I had 10, and still didn't get a thing, right? Now, I wasn't negative to the point where I was really upset, but just even in our joking, guys, in our joking, our words still have power. And so we have to be very mindful of the face that I had determination. Hey girl, hey Zeta. So let me see here. Energy, yes, energy is contained. Hey Terry. Okay, but yeah, y'all, so I'm sitting there with all my little 10 tickets. And I thought I had done a good deed because I gave one of my tickets away. Like, here, you didn't get any tickets. Here's half one of mine. But in my mind, I was like, now, if you win, you might have to share that with me. I was thinking in a scarcity mentality, right? Like, well, if they win, then I'm probably not going to win, even though I have 9 tickets. So you're going to have to share your gift with me, right? I'm thinking there's a shortage. I'm thinking that they can't have it all. And if they get it, then they're going to have to share with me, because then I won't be able to get it if they get it. That is the negative mindset that we've actually been talking about, that we shouldn't have, right? The scarcity mindset. And that's how unsuccessful people go. And that's why I didn't walk away with anything, and I had to pay for everything that I got today. So, all right. So that is just simple things to really think about how these laws and rules and work in our everyday lives. Like, even when we think that this stuff is not at work, it's really at work. And we can see it played out if we would take the time to analyze our day and analyze our lives and analyze our thoughts and analyze our efforts, right? So, I mean, I even think about when I first got these tickets, to stay on that example, the woman who gave them to me was just like, okay, here, you know, here's your raffle tickets. And I didn't really think much of it. I'm just like, okay, raffle tickets, I may or may not win, right? But that's not what successful people do. Successful people are like, I'm going to win. This is my day. This is my time. They command it. They take all of the energy and they just like put it out there in the atmosphere. Then the next lady I walked by who was also giving out tickets, she was like, well, these are my tickets and they're the winning tickets. These tickets right here, her tickets probably were the winning tickets because I ain't win nothing, right? But I was like, oh, well, let me get yours. Like, I'm just playing. I'll just take these tickets. No, I should have gone ahead and took those tickets where they were claiming that it was going to be the winning tickets. Why? Because our words have power. Now, did the winning tickets come from there? I really don't know. But the point is, my whole mindset behind it was wrong. Like, I didn't believe that I would win for real. I didn't claim it. I didn't have the energy behind it. Like, nothing about that said, Camille, you are going to win this stuff. Like, it would have been a complete surprise, right? And so instead, I just sat there like cheering. I cheered for everybody else. Like, don't get me wrong. I wasn't sitting there with a little puppy face like, woe is me. But I was kind of like, Zane, come on, call my number. 1. And then they'd be like 5. And I was like, okay. Yes, Michelle, expectancy. Okay, so my little ghetto girl pop. Y'all hear that? Okay, I couldn't even do it good that time. Now, anytime you play victim in order to be right, you are taking on the identity of a victim and can't think, and that can't be a good thing. So that just goes back to what I was talking about earlier when I thought like, okay, well, we're going to go out here and we're going to show you how you wrong, right? But really we were the victim because we were allowing their actions to control our actions. And so anytime you play victim in order to be right, you are taking on the identity of a victim. And so it's the same concept. When you are trying to prove someone wrong so that you can be right, you are taking on the victim mentality. And I really want y'all to get that, because so many of us, we have to be right. And we have to show everyone like A, B, C, and D, you know, really A through Z on how they're wrong and what they've done wrong and all of this other stuff. And then it begins to frustrate you. And then you're just like, but you don't see and you don't understand, right? And now, hello, victim. That's you, right? Now you got 2 victims. What you gonna solve with 2 victims? I don't know. Nothing. You're not gonna solve nothing. You're just gonna have 2 victims who are mad, angry, upset, and not solution oriented, but problem oriented, because they're gonna be trying to tell you and you're gonna be trying to tell them, and nobody's listening and nobody's coming into an agreement and nobody's coming up with solution. It's just victim, victim, victim. And then no victim, you victim, this victim, but it's your fault, not my fault, it's their fault. Then you won't be mad at somebody else. No, it's their fault. Like it's a third party who's not even involved. And then it's like, what? Why did my name get drawn in? Like, I don't even understand. I remember, you know, there's been times where people have been like, yeah, well, so-and-so said that you, whoa, what did I even have to do with the situation? Absolutely nothing. But because you had 2 victims participating in the conversation, then the blame gets thrown on somebody else. Simple as that. And then when those things began to happen, I had to say, wait a second, who am I hanging around? Like, who are these people who continue to put my name in something that I don't have anything to do with? So instead of jumping in and now I'm playing blame game with them, I have to disassociate. And it's okay for you to disassociate with victims, okay? And it's okay for you to disassociate that part of yourself from yourself. Like, get rid of it. Goodbye. So long, bye-bye. Right? No more victim mentality. No more always being right. Humble yourself. I'm always right, Camille. Don't forget our combo. Oh, Marshawn, no one can forget your always right combo. No. 2 victims on a... Right. Achieving nothing. Right? Going round and round. And we all know that going round and round, expecting different results is insanity. Can't keep doing the same thing over and over, right? Don't always have to have the last word. Michelle, come on. Yes. But so many people do. So many people do, and it solves nothing. It just gives me revved up for the next thing so I can say the next last thing. And now what was could have been a 5-minute conversation is a 5-hour argument. It's crazy, right? We do some crazy things because we are being victim. We think we're on top, but we're not. We think we're boss, but we're not. We're victim. Stop it. And let me, again, if you are not reaching your goals, if your boss mentality is not allowing you to reach your goals, it might actually be victim mentality. So that's something for you to think about. So if your effort and your thought isn't getting you to where you want to be, then maybe it's victim. Okay? So you need to say, am I a victim or am I assuming responsibility? You used to say you're always, no, that's Amber. Amber's always right. I'm just right when I'm right. Run, yes, or the Ferris wheel behind. Look at you, looking for all of the metaphors in life. Is that the Ferris wheel in Atlanta? Yes, Brian. Okay, so look at y'all trying to identify my location. Don't y'all be popping up on me. Okay. Where are we? Listen, I had so many notes from this chapter, but we're closing. We're bringing it in. Okay, so these are Grant's last few tips for us. Approach every situation as someone who is acting, not being acted upon. Approach every situation as someone who is acting, not being acted upon. You will start to have more control of your life. So remember, it's going to be better for you to take action on something and have control versus allow it to snowball back on you. So for instance, let's say on your job, right? You know that there is a big project coming up and you need to step your game up. So instead of waiting for someone to come to you and you know that it's coming up, why don't you step your game up and add value? So let's say it's a I don't know, what might it be? Okay, for when I worked for the Girl Scouts, excuse me, we had to do a cookie rally, right? And so every team had to put together something that their team was going to do, their department. So instead of waiting for that time to come around and being like, okay, well, someone needs to tell me what to do, you come up with the idea in order to add value. Now they're going to be looking at you like, oh, okay, well, cookie rally is here. What are some things that we can implement? And before they can even ask that question, you're like, no, here, boom, 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 boom. Especially for some of us who don't like our jobs and we don't like other people's ideas. And we're like, no, those ideas are really crappy and I don't want to do them. But you're not willing to do anything to change that. Like, you just wait for the crappy ideas to come to you and then you want to complain that the crappy ideas came, but you knew they were coming because all the ideas are crappy. It's like, why don't you come up with some good ideas? Be proactive. Be like, hey, here are my ideas. Here are my plans. Here are my strategies. We should implement them. They're innovative. They're fun. They create desire. They solve problems. Boom. Now that you've done that, maybe they're going to start looking at you for the promotion. But why? Because you added value, right? Are y'all getting it? This is taking 10 times more thought and 10 times more effort. Take responsibility. Don't be acted upon, but you take the action. Right? Step your game up. I need some cookies, LOL, from the Girl Scouts. It is Girl Scout cookie time, so support those Girl Scouts. I knew where you were yesterday. Been there. I see you in the penthouse, LOL. I'm at the door at Topi. Girl, I would let you in, though, you know. Add value. Did she say that? Yes, I need some cookies. I read that. Let me see. Somebody just got boom. Hey. Okay. All right, now where are we at here? Having success is a direct result of what you do and what you think. Having success is a direct result of what you do and how you think. So going back to even my little ticket experience today, I was just not in the mind frame. In fact, I even messaged someone and was like, yeah, I'm here, but I ain't winning no gifts though. I'm not winning no raffles. Like, my words were like speaking death. Even though I was joking, right? And I didn't have, like, today was a great event, but I was joking, but my words were like speaking death. So how many times are you joking about something, but in your jokes, you're truly speaking death? Because like when you put it out into the atmosphere, it doesn't decipher whether it was a joke or whether you were for real or not. Like if you really meant it. So therefore, it's just better to be more intentional with our words, so that you don't have to go back and be like, but I was just joking. I was just kidding. Yeah, it's too late. It doesn't work like that. Like you have to be intentional. You have to say what you mean and mean what you say. All right. Yes, we are getting it. Yay, LOL. That's true. Okay. So Grant, the author of our book, The 10X Rule, right? Make sure you grab it if you don't already have it, The 10X Rule. Grant didn't grow up privileged. He says that he assumes responsibility for all areas of his life and takes massive action. So he's like, he grew up in an unideal location. Okay, we talked about a couple lives ago that in his 20s he was addicted to drugs and alcohol. He was pretty much like one of those people you look at like, well, your life isn't going to go very far, right? Like you're not going to get much accomplished. He didn't have purpose. But it wasn't until he decided to assume responsibility for his life that he gained control of his life. And now he's very successful in his businesses, multiple. He's married with children, and they are happily married. And, you know, the people in his companies are happy. His spiritual life, according to him and what his spiritual goal is, right? He finds to be successful, and he's happy with that. So he did not allow his environment to create this horrible life for him. No, he said, you know, I'm going to get up and I'm going to assume responsibility. So if you're in your 20s, if you're in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, it don't matter. If you're a teenager, if you're younger than that, as long as you have the mind and the action to accomplish the goal, guess what? It can be done. You have to believe. Belief starts in the mind. You begin to speak it, you begin to act on it. Are you joking or speaking? Yes. Are we joking or speaking to, yes, be intentional. Okay, so now it happens because of me, not to me. Mentality opens up the 10X rule. It happens because of me and not to me. Opens up the 10X rule. So when we start thinking that this happened because of me, then that makes us want to take the responsibility and take action, because it's like, you know, I don't want that attached to my name. Like, oh no, no, God, no, right? Like, I want to be a person that people look at me and say, if Camille said she was going to do it, then the job is going to get done, right? I want to be that person of integrity. I want to be that person that somebody looks back at and refers me to somebody else because of the services that I offered have been great. And so when I think about living my life at a life of excellence, then when I come to the saying that things happen because of me, then I'm going to get up and take some action. I'm not going to allow somebody else, especially when we know majority people don't know their purpose. They haven't created any goals. They don't have any real intentions in life. That's who we're going to leave our life up to? Oh my, yikes, right? We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. I mean, seriously, look around the people who are around you. Are they happy with what they have achieved? Like, genuinely, are they on the right path, or are they stagnant? And those are the people that you want to leave it up to. And I can already tell you that majority of people aren't, right? We can look at them going to work. Most people complain about their jobs, how they're unhappy, how they don't like their boss, how they don't like their co-workers, right? They complain about it all the time. They live for Fridays versus being able to enjoy every day of their life. It's like, oh, God, it's Friday. I can get away from all those horrible people and all that horrible work. Hallelujah. Thank God I'm going to go spend all this money that I don't really have, and I'm going to charge it, right? So now we've already knocked off attitude. They're not happy. They're complaining. They don't have any money. And these are the people that we want to leave our success up to. Y'all tell me why that makes sense. It doesn't. You don't have to tell me, because I already know. It just doesn't make any sense. So we have to assume responsibility. Take responsibility for your life, because if you leave it up to somebody else, chances are you're not going to get it. You will have a lack. All right? Come on. No smile, no joy. Yes. Okay. Let's see here. No matter where I am. So this is a saying that Grant says, no matter where I am, there I am. I am the problem and the solution. So if there is something going on, no matter where I am, there I am. No matter where I am, there I am. And it took me a second to really begin to think about that. But no matter where I go, if I am there, then I should be able to find the solution to whatever problem is going on. And if I can't personally solve the problem, then I need to go find some people who can help me to solve the problem. But I'm not going to get caught up in the problem. I'm going to help solve it. We are solution oriented. We are solution seekers. We go after our responsibilities. We take control of our responsibilities. We take control of our success. So we don't just allow things to happen. Bad things start happening around us. We step up to the occasion. Are you stepping up to the occasion in your own life? Are you stepping up to the occasion in your own life? All right. Let's see here. Be the cause of outcomes rather than victim. Be the cause of outcomes rather than victim. So that just ties into what I'm saying. Like if there's a problem that's going on, then it shouldn't be, oh, well, this problem still exists and you're still around. No, this problem, if I need to get the job done, I need to know that I can call on Toby. If I need to get the job done, I need to know that I can call on Michelle. I know that they're going to get the job done. That should be the reputation that you are going after. That if you are called upon, you can get the job done because you get outcomes. You get outcomes. You're not the victim. And that's why people can trust people, because they know that the job is going to get done. That's how you add value. And when you add value, you get what? Success. The more out value you add, the more success you will have. Now, remember, the key is you have to identify the right groups or the right individual for you to have the value. Because if I'm a person, like maybe I'm really great at skating, but your interest isn't skating, but I'm coming to you and I'm like, no, this is a really good skating move. Like, you should watch this move, but you're not interested in it. So what value am I adding to you? I'm not. In fact, you're just like, okay, are you done yet? Like, I'm tired of watching. In fact, I didn't want to watch in the first place. So now you're just wasting my time, right? So now you're put off as a pest versus value adders. So you have to find the right people or the right individual, again, just depending on what your goal is, and make sure you are putting that value in front of them. How you do anything is how you do everything, because you are everywhere you go. Yes. Call us. Yes. I'm going to speak that, right? That's deep. Identify. Keyword again. Right. We have to be so aware. If we're not aware and we're not able to identify and everything just kind of goes over our head, or we just kind of go through the motions, then we can't be intentional. And that's what we need to be in our life. Okay. Always have a choice how to respond. So we always have a choice how to respond to things that happen. And it's up to you. It is up to you. Are you victim or are you action taker? Do you assume the responsibility? That's the question of the night. Or are you being the punk? Stop being a punk. Take responsibility. It ain't their fault. It's not their responsibility. It's yours. If you want it, nobody cares about your success like you care about your success. Or do you care about your success? Have you taken on the mentality that success is important? Have you taken on the mentality that success is your ethical duty? Like, it is your duty to be successful for you, your family, your business. Like, it is your duty, because you are going to pull up generations out of horrible mentalities, whether that be, just the mentality of lack, whether it's financially, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in marriages. Like, it's time to break those generational cycles. But you can't break those generational cycles if you yourself are being intertwined in them. You have to say, I am the solution. I dominate this. I dominate good marriages. I dominate good businesses. I dominate good relationships with God. I dominate my spiritual life. I dominate my family life. My family will come together and sit down at the table. We will know each other beyond social media. We will know each other. beyond arguments and pettiness. You know, these are the things that we have to begin to claim, regardless of what your goals are, regardless of what category they fall in. You have to take responsibility. Go on ahead and scream, Michelle. Will Jeffries, this is on fire. Catch the replay, bro. That's deep. Let me see here. Counting my coins. Pass the offer. Pass it, girl. I need some coins. Yes, I am the solution. Okay, so let me see here. There was more. Success isn't a journey, but a state, constant or otherwise, which you have, let me see, I wrote that down wrong, over which you have control and responsibility. You either create success or you don't. It isn't for whiners or babies or victims. Okay, so what he is saying is that we can also, we use the saying that success is this journey, but we use that as a way to downplay reaching our goals in a timely manner. So what he is saying is that success is a state of being. Like when I move from one place to the next, yes, that might be a journey, but I'm always creating success. I'm not using success as a journey as a reason of why I'm not being able to obtain what it is that I desire. And so many of us were like, well, you know, it's just a journey that we're on, and I'm just making more excuses, but it's just all part of the journey. And so he's saying, stop doing that. Make success part of a constant being. And yeah, you're going to have disappointments, bad things. Yeah, they're going to happen, and we can call them failures, right? But the difference between a successful person and the victim person is we got to get up and go in the drive to say, no matter what it takes, no matter what's going to happen, I'm going to bounce back. I'm going to find the solution. I'm going to get up here and make this stuff happen. Can't nobody dominate my life. I dominate this. Right? And because I dominate my life, somebody's going to see the value, and somebody is going to take me up on my offer to solve that problem, to take me up on the offer to use my service, whatever it is. Somebody's going to say, marry me. Somebody's going to, whatever. Remember, this applies to every aspect of your life. Okay, so let me see here. Read the last paragraph. So let me turn to the last page. You doubtlessly have gifts you have yet to use. You have gifts inside of you that you have yet to use. Potential that remains untapped. You have potential that is untapped inside of you right now. You've been endowed with the desire for greatness and are aware enough to know that there are no shortages of success. You have been endowed with a desire for greatness and are aware that there is no shortages of success. Increase your responsibility level. Assume control for everything that happens to you, and live by the slogan that nothing happens to you, only because of you. Untapped potential. Yes. So guys, that is my time on tonight. I am going to get off of here and enjoy the rest of my moments here. And if you're in Cincinnati, come join me at Refreshing Springs Church of God, Westchester, Ohio, 7719 LaSoursville, Westchester Road. The zip code is 45069. Tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Yes, I will be there in full effect. Praise and worship. Okay, so come join me. But thanks guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you share this video if it added any value to you, and it's going to help your friends, your families as well. And when you do that, you'll be entered into a drawing to win cash, gift cards, and also some free health products. And we're going to do that every week. So Monday will be our first drawing. So thanks again for tuning in. Thank you, Michelle, for tuning in. Good night, Wilbert. Love it. Thanks, Topi. Church 11 a.m. Okay, guys, so I'm Camille Aiko. I hope that you are living the life that you love, spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. I will check you all out tomorrow night as we move on to chapter 7 of the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Make sure you get your copy of the book. I am a winner. Yes, Michelle, you are a winner. You will win. All right. Good night, guys. Mwah. Love y'all.